Hi, I'm Sproins. Welcome to episode 4 of my Xisuminati Let's Play modded Minecraft series. Last time we did some stuff. This time I kind of have a lot to do. I didn't do a whole lot in between episodes just because I wanted to do more stuff on camera. So yeah, first though, I do want to talk about some things that I did take care of. First of all, a mod that I added. Just like the Aroma Core backup mod, it's a mod that doesn't affect gameplay, and it's called Impure, and it's basically for NEI organization. So you can see there's 1 out of 32 pages. Before there was there's probably almost 200 pages. So basically what it does is it just kind of cuts down a lot of the unnecessary stuff. So for example, if I type in drum, now it'll only show me how to make the bass drum and the bedrockium drum. So I don't have like XP drum, lava drum, water drum. I don't have all those because I really don't need those. Another thing is, for example, forge micro blocks. So now it only shows me the recipe how to make one of the many different types. And before there were 88 pages of forge micro blocks, which is insane. So that's just a mod that I added. Again, it's called Impure. And yeah, it's a pretty neat mod. Another thing you might notice right away is the base is changed a little bit differently. Last time I didn't have a whole lot of time to record the episode, so I just kind of threw something together really quickly. I wasn't too happy with it, and I had a little bit of time, so I worked on it. It's still nothing incredibly awesome, but I changed like these posts. I think these used to be dark oak wood or something. They were something else. And I completely redesigned this little part up here. I took out the fences and I replaced them with slabs. And then this room, I kind of expanded it and turned it into my enchanting station. I have the liquid XP drum and the XP shower and all that set up right here. I could have gotten a little bit fancier with it, maybe made it like not stick out so much, but it's fine the way it is. Something that you can just stand here and kind of turn it on, get your XP, and do your enchantments. I also have brewing stand. I still need to get like a chest or something up here that you can keep your potions and materials in and stuff. But anyway, that's just a little thing I added for now to make the base look a little bit nicer. You can also notice on the outside, this was over here, the Tinker Smeltery, and I pushed it back a little bit, and then I added this kind of walkway. Not really sure what I want to do with this whole walkway setup, little path or whatever just yet, but just a little bit of, you can see I kind of even stopped. So it's just a little bit nicer thing that I made, but it's something I'll still work on. Again, this is just supposed to be a beginner's base, not supposed to be anything fancy. Another thing I want to mention, for some reason in the last episode when we looked at the sword that I made, this cutlass, the attack damage only said +8, but in reality it was +15. So one-shots most mobs. It's not going to one-shot that guy because he's wearing armor, but he's down to half a heart. So one-shots most mobs, Enderman takes 2 shots. So yeah, if we go on the inside of the base, this is also changed up a little bit. So I have a little bit of organization. This is all going to be replaced eventually with a storehouse. Maybe even in this episode, but for now, just I needed something to kind of organize because it was driving me crazy. So I got all of my stuff over here just in its proper place for now. Have Ender Furnace, we'll talk about that here in a minute, and we have the elevator. So I was thinking, you know what, this is modded. Who needs stairs when we can have the elevator? So the way the elevator works is, let's just take a look at the recipe, turn on number lock, and press 3. Ender pearl surrounded by wool, and what you do is you can place them above or below other elevators. So I have another elevator block below this one, so if I stand on it and if I hold down shift, it plays a nice little noise and just instantly transports me. And there's the if you stand on it and hold up or hold spacebar to jump, it teleports you upwards, so kind of go back and forth instantly. Here's the other one. It's just, I don't think you can have blocks in the way of the teleportation path. I might be wrong, but here's the basement. Just kind of ignore that for now. And yeah, so anyways, this Ender Furnace, here's how you make one of those. In stone, surrounding an Eye of Ender. And you also have to make something called an ender tag. We can look up that real quick. Or end tag? No, ender tag. Here's a recipe for that. And to make an ender tag, you have to put paper in an ender furnace. And an ender furnace, you can use any of these items as fuel. Most commonly, you're probably just going to want to use an ender pearl. So you get ender tag. What you do with an ender tag is you hold it in your hand and you right click anywhere in the world, and that saves the coordinates of the place that you clicked on the ender tag. And then you take that ender tag and you right click again on one of these entity shifters. Entity shifters, here's the recipe for those. So just gold with glass and one of these ender pearl blocks in redstone. The ender pearl block is kind of expensive. You need 4 of those, which are 9 ender pearls. Kind of expensive, but not really, ever since we put up that ender farm. These need to be powered. There's a redstone block underneath it. And what you do is you just, once it's powered and you have the coordinates set in, you just stand on it and it teleports you to where the coordinates were. So I have this one set to teleport us out to the tree farm, so let's go. And here we are. This is a second entity shifter. You don't need to teleport to and from, but it's probably a good idea if you're going far distances just so you can get back instantly. It's much faster than going through the ender portal like I was doing every single time. Anyway, here's a tree farm. You can see here that a couple things have changed. For one, let's turn the sound down while we're out here. Right, so for one thing that I did was I put these cobblestone blocks kind of in every other block that the planter can plant in, and that's just to kind of slow it down a little bit because it was producing a crazy amount of items. And I also added a cache for charcoal. So let me show you that real quick. What's happening here is the charcoal is of course still coming out of the redstone furnace and it's going into these guys, and it prefers to go into these guys first. So the first generators will fill up first, and then when they're full, that's when it will start going into the cache. So only the excess charcoal goes into the cache. The only problem I seem to have is this furnace generator never stays full. It always hovers like here to here, but it never goes all the way down. It'll just be hovering somewhere in there, which is fine. We still got all this power. I added a little farm over here. Let me also sleep. I added this little farm over here. It's just a 3x3, and this one is for rubber trees, just so I can get some of this raw rubber. And it's just tapped into the power that we have going on for the main tree farm. Over here is the Ender Pearl farm. It's still going good. Now we have over 1,000 Ender Pearls since last time. And yeah, if we look in here, you can actually see it's producing Ender Lily seeds. And I said in the last episode that I wasn't sure if it produced Ender Lily seeds. In fact, I thought that it didn't. I thought that it would, as many as I put in was as many as we'll ever have, but that is not the case. So this does produce Ender Lily seeds, although at a much slower rate than we actually get the Ender Pearls. So if I want, I can use these Ender Lily seeds and expand the farm, which is something that I might look into doing. So for today, what I want to do, let's head back to the base. What I want to do today is, now that we move the tree farm all the way over there, we have no way to power our base, and I would like to change that. So to do that, I have something in mind. So let me go grab the items that we're going to need, and yeah, we'll actually be going into the Nether. So I will meet you there. Alright, so here we are in the Nether, and I've built a little platform out here in this lava lake, and that is because the power generation that I'm going to use is using the endothermic pump with ender tanks and lava generators. Also use the magmatic dynamo to power the endothermic pump, so it's kind of an old school method, but still works, still good for early game power. So first we'll put down the endothermic pump, and what this does is it will pump the lava blocks out of this lake, and it will pump that into an ender tank. So, ender tank. It's basically a tank version of the ender chest from ender storage. Next we'll need the magmatic dynamo, and that's just to provide power to the endothermic pump. And then liquid transfer node to suck from the ender tank some of the lava. It'll only suck out a little bit of lava, just enough to power the magmatic dynamo, which is enough to power the endothermic pump, which is enough to keep the whole system running. So let's take a look at some of these recipes before we move on. Here's a recipe for the endothermic pump. Really easy. Here is the ender tank. So I crafted 2 of these so they can transport from here into the overworld. Liquid transfer node, we already know about that one. And here's the magmatic dynamo, which is a little heavy on the invar, but still not too bad. And it just requires one of these, silver. And that's that. So to get this whole thing started, what we'll have to do is we will grab a bucket of lava, and I think we can put it anywhere. I'm going to put it in magmatic dynamo. Alright, so this is powered, and this is filling up, as it should. Alright, so for the next part of this, we'll have to go back into the overworld. Another thing I should mention about the endothermic pump is whenever it pumps out a block of lava, it replaces it with stone, which is really cool. It doesn't cause the lava to update, and therefore decreases the amount of lag that you experience, which is great. Alright, so let's go ahead and head back to the overworld. Alright, back in the overworld, we're down here in our basement. And for now, I'm just going to set this up over here. So what I want to do is set down the ender tank, I guess right here. And I also have a, where is it? Yeah, I have a drum that I prepared, and I want to put the drum right here. The drum will act as a buffer, so if we set this to export its fluids, so now it's pumping its fluids into here. Right, so that'll be sort of a buffer. And then I think all we have to do, I might need to make another liquid transfer node, but I think all we have to do is put down the lava generator. No, that does not work. So let me grab a liquid transfer node. Okay, I have the liquid transfer node, but first I think I want to organize this a little bit differently. What I want to do is I'll have the ender tank up here, the drum right below that, and then below that, let's see. I think I want to do it like this. So I'll put the liquid transfer node here, and then the lava generator right here. And then that should be filling up with lava, and then that should be filling up with power. And then I crafted this hardened energy cell. I think I'll put that right there. And now this is accepting that power. So let's just make sure it's only accepting from this side. And that's that. It's now filling up. And we don't have to worry about the chunks being unloaded in the nether, I believe, because the endothermic pump keeps itself chunk loaded. So that won't be a problem. And now what we should be able to do is, I don't think I have enough cable, maybe. We also tell this to export. So I don't really have enough, but now we can power our machines like this. So this setup is okay, but I think I'm going to expand this. I think I'm going to make a bunch of lava generators, and instead of just having the one, I'll have like liquid transfer node pipe just running along, and then on either side of the pipe I'll have maybe 4 on each side lava generators, and then each one of those will be turning the lava into energy, and then we'll be gaining energy much more quickly. Not sure how much more efficiently, but more quickly anyway. Alright, I'd like to talk about my Tinker's tools a little bit because they've changed since last time. So first of all, the sword we've already talked about. The attack damage is just, it's leveled up 1, so the attack damage was 15, it's now 16. The hammer, not too much to talk about, just it gave me auto repair, haste, and luck so far. It's leveled up a couple times, still working on it. For the lumber axe, I took it to a redwood forest and chopped down a bunch of redwood trees to kind of power level it, I guess you could say. So I leveled it up to master. It didn't take long at all. It gave me haste, luck, which I'm not sure if that does anything for lumber axe, but I have it, and auto repair. And auto repair does what you would think it does. It slowly repairs the tool over time, and it works better if you are in direct sunlight. So The hammer also has auto repair. For the shovel, I'm still working on it. It's going to be a while before it levels all the way up, but whatever. This is actually the first shovel that we made, the one that we made out of stone, and I added auto repair and auto smelt to it. And I also tried to level it up a little bit. So I know I said that I don't particularly like auto smelt, but in some instances it can be helpful. So for example, if I dig sand while I have an auto smelt tool, it will instantly convert that into glass, you can see. So that's pretty cool, and if I ever need glass I can just come out here and dig away at the desert. Let me sleep real quick. Also, now my sleeping bag has durability. I'm not sure why. I think it's because I took damage, a skeleton shot at me as I was sleeping, but now my sleeping bag has durability and protection 6. So that's an interesting little bug. But anyway, so for the pick I made this one. I used cobalt for the head, manulin for the handle, and paper for the binding to give myself a free modifier. So what I did was I took this to the nether and I just kind of powered through a bunch of netherrack to level it up really quickly. I leveled it up to master and it gave me auto repair, it gave me 2 auto repairs, and then it gave me 2 levels of haste. Then I took it back and using the modifier that I had from the paper, I added Silk Touch, and then I also topped off the haste with the modifiers that it gave me just from leveling it up. So to add Silk Touch to a tool with Tinker's Construct, you want to craft a Silky Jewel, which is like this. You take these silky cloths around an emerald. Silky cloth is just string around. You can use aluminum, brass, ingot, or gold. I used gold. And then also I said I added auto smelt to this one. To add auto smelt, you need something called a lava crystal. Really easy recipe, just combine lava crystal with the tool that you want to add auto smelt, and then I also added the auto repair. So auto repair is actually, you need something called moss, and there's a few different ways to get moss, but I just used the moss stone, put it in a 3x3 on the grid, and this is how I made my moss. Cobblestone and vines, pretty easy. So those are my tools. For now, I think I'm going to stick with these for a little while before I move on. So I still have the Terra Eater. I'm going to hold on to that. It's still good for digging dirt and sand a little bit and for creating torches, but it's basically going to be retired. I also still have this. It has looting 3, fortune 3. My main hammer only has looting 2, fortune 2. But I might be able to actually add lapis on that and get it up, but I'm not sure. I really like these tools for now, and yeah. Another thing about this pick that I forgot to mention is when I first made it, its speed was something like 14 or 16 or something like that. It was maybe comparable to the Terrain Eater on just regular stone, which is still pretty fast, but after I added all the extra haste and it got haste from leveling up, the speed turned out to be 50. Which is crazy. So here's what 50 looks like. Yeah, this is basically instant, and it's also Silk Touch, so that's pretty cool. So I mentioned in a previous episode, I think the last one, that I wanted to start working towards a quarry. However, to do that, I kind of want my storage situation worked out a little bit better. So I think it's time we take a look at the storehouse, which is from Quantum Flux. So the recipe for this thing is titanium ingots, which I got a bunch of. Some of these things, I've crafted these before. I might actually have some laying around. Same thing with these. These are pretty easy. But then these recipes get a little bit more advanced. Advanced circuit. We need to put a blank circuit and mystic quartz in an item fabricator. Mystic quartz, we need titanium and nether quartz in the fabricator. Blank circuit is paper, silica. And silica is sand, and block of quartz in the fabricator. We get 4 of those. So let's take a look at the item fabricator. Alright, so just some of these, darkstone and amplification crystal. We've looked at all that before, so that's pretty easy. I think I can go ahead and get all the materials that I need for the storehouse. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back when we're ready to take a look at it. First I want to show you a new machine that I made. It's the induction smelter from Thermal Expansion. So I take a look at the recipe, just some Invar, machine frame bucket, and redstone reception coil. And what this does is this is a way to triple our titanium ore output. So you can't put titanium ore in the pulverizer, but you can put it in the induction smelter. And if you put cinnabar in this slot, it will give you 3 ingots per ore. You get cinnabar from, you have a 25% chance to create cinnabar as a byproduct when pulverizing redstone ore, or only a 5% chance when pulverizing gold. So yeah, I've been doing this to get a little bit of cinnabar. You throw the cinnabar in this slot, and then it will give you 3 of the ingots. Now, whenever you do this operation using the cinnabar, you have a chance to produce rich slag as a byproduct in the induction smelter. And you can take the rich slag from this slot, put it back into this slot, and it will again give you 3 ingots per ore operation. Now, if you do this operation with the rich slag, it only has a chance to give you just regular slag. And the slag, as far as I can tell, doesn't do anything. So that's how I've been getting my titanium ore, because titanium ore is not super hard to find, but it's not exactly common, and it's going to be helpful making some of these quantum flux items, such as the storehouse. Alright, I have the item fabricator, just going to put it down here right next to the induction smelter, so it should be getting powered. Right, and so I think I have everything I need for the storehouse. First we need advanced circuits. We need 2 of these, so we'll need Mystic Quartz, and so we'll need 2 of those, and we'll also need 2 of the blank circuits, and silica, block of quartz, sand. Alright, let's do this. First, let's make the silica. Okay. Now let's make the, what was that, the nether crystal thingies? Whatever they are. Okay, Mystic Quartz. Now let's get some of the advanced circuits. So silica and paper. We'll go ahead and make 3 of them. Alright, blank circuits. And then for this thing we'll need 2 of the ender crystals, which is ender pearl and crystallized redstone. Crystallized redstone you get from smelting redstone, so I already made a little bit of that. We'll need 2 of them. And there's the advanced circuits and quantum disk. I think that's everything we need from the item fabricator. Let's go see. Alright, so we can put this together, yes. And then, is that everything? That is everything. Alright, so we have a storehouse. Storehouse holds an insane amount of stuff. I think I'm just going to put it right here. So you can't break it without it losing its inventory. So if you break it, it'll drop everything that was in it, just like a chest. But there is a way to move it that I know of. But pretty sure it's going to be sitting here for a while. So I might actually just keep the drawers here for some of the more common stuff that we'll have a lot of. And they'll probably get upgraded. I'll probably also keep the caches here. But like all of this random junk and stuff, it's all going to go into the storehouse, and that'll save a lot of space. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Start shift-clicking everything out, and then shift-clicking everything in. Oh, I guess, can you not shift-click in? Alright. So that's going to slow things down a little bit. But that's okay. It also has a search, so if I click up here, let me back out of that. So if I search for sand, it shows me my sandstone that I have, or anything with sand in the name. Kind of like how NEI works. And while we're on the subject of organizing, I went ahead and made some compacting drawers. Here's a recipe for these. Just a drawer and stone, piston, iron. Really simple. And what these do is, you can see I have some gold ingots in my inventory, so if I put them in the compacting drawer, it'll store them as the block, the ingot, and the nuggets. So I can mouse over whichever one that I have in my inventory. So if I had nuggets, I'd mouse over this, but I have ingots, so I'll mouse over this. And then I can just right-click or double right-click to store them. And then if I want to take an ingot, for example, you can see in the top left on Wayla, it says I have 4 ingots plus 4, so if I take plus 3, now it says gold nuggets plus 8, and it will adjust the number next to the item accordingly. So if I take, yeah, you can see the number of ingots is going down, and then when this goes down, the blocks of gold number should go down as well, like that. And then I can just pop them back in. So that's pretty handy. I made 10 of them. I might actually need more than 10. I'm not sure like what all stores. I know the titanium ingots don't store as blocks, and I don't think they store as nuggets either. But we're getting some storage management done, which is nice. Alright, here's something else that I just learned. If you put a block of quartz in, the compacting drawers will store it as both nether quartz and the block of quartz. Normally there's no other way to convert back and forth that I'm aware of, besides putting it in a pulverizer, or maybe some other method that uses energy of some sort. So this is a free way to store the nether quartz, which is pretty awesome. Another thing I also found out, if you shift right click, you can see a visual representation of what's going on. Alright, a little bit more organization. I went ahead and I took the pulverizer and the furnace setup we had and kind of connected it to this compacting storage system thing that I have going. So we'll take a look behind here. You can see I just have item transfer pipes that's running from the redstone furnace, so any ingots that the furnace makes or produces, it will put into all of these slots and fill them up. Up here I have stuff that isn't going to come out of the furnace, just stuff like diamonds, coal, redstone, stuff that I find while mining, don't really have anywhere else to put it. I have some blank spaces up here if I need to expand, and over on this, like right after this line, this is the combined materials that I made, so the Invar and the Electrum and the bronze, and then just some couple empty spots in case I need anything else. Over here I just have some covers to kind of cover it up a little bit. They don't really work well on the RedNet energy cables. You can see they kind of stick out a little bit, but that's okay. This is basically just temporary. I wanted to make it look at least a little bit nice. This is actually carpenter stairs, so I can open up this chest, and the reason why I need to open that chest is because it's actually going into this hopper. This is a double chest, so it'll extend all the way to the hopper, so it'll be able to loop back around into the pulverizer and just kind of save a block space on what I had before. Also, if we go up here, as it started to rain now, but anyway, I have everything in the storehouse, and I decided to keep a gold chest right here, right next to it, and this is just for stuff that doesn't stack, because the storehouse can hold up to 99 stacks of items, so I've barely used a third of it. And that's everything I've collected so far, excluding, you know, what's in the caches and the storage barrels. But anyway, yeah, I put this gold chest here just to save up a little bit of inventory space, so stuff that doesn't stack, like tools, stuff that has durability. Mostly going to go in here, and I'll probably upgrade this to a diamond chest too, just for now. And over here I've just added a retrieval chest. So basically what should happen is, if we look in the iron, it says we have 2 ingots, and if we look at the silver, it says we have 2 ingots. So I should be able to just put iron and silver in here, it'll get sucked out of the chest, and then 5 ingots and silver? Where'd you go, silver? 5 ingots. So it took a little bit of time. I might put a speed upgrade under here. That's all I have. I just have a transfer node connected to this chest going into all this. But yeah, it should be fine. So if ever I'm working around here and I just need to dump off a bunch of stuff that I've been working with, I can just drop it in this chest. And I might actually add something up here to kind of do the same thing with these blocks too. Maybe not. We'll see. I think storage is pretty much well taken care of for now. Okay, so now that we have power, and we have some organization storage set up, I think it's time we start looking into quarries. The quarry I'm going to go with is ender quarries, and I should point out that by default in this mod pack, ender quarries and the ender quarry upgrades are disabled. So if you want to use them, you have to go into the config settings and enable the ender quarries and their upgrades, which I have done. So to make the ender quarry, let's take a look at the recipe. We need 2 of the endothermic pumps. So just like we have the endothermic pump, the same one that's powering our base that we have in the nether, we need 2 of those. Diamond pickaxe, we need some ender cores. So we already know how to make these. We need the magical wood. Ender cores is what we have at the ender farm, the ender lily, ender seed farm. We need a sapling, and then we need a diamond etched computational matrix. Okay, so that one's pretty simple as well. And I think I'm also going to make the silk touch upgrade. That way we can process some of the ores and stuff that we get. We need a golden pickaxe with silk touch. I do have a silk touch book, so that won't be a problem. And then a ender quarry upgrade base. And for that we need a QED. That's a QED recipe. So let's take a look at making the QED. QED. So to make QED, just another one of those diamond etched computational matrices, interfused obsidian, ender crafting table. And to power these, I think you also need, I forget what they're called, ender flux crystals. So we'll also need to make some of these. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the QED device, and then we'll start working on the quarry. Alright, here's our QED. Quantum emissions decompiler, as it said in Wayla. And the cool thing about QEDs are if you look away for a little while, look at something else, then come back, it says something else. So now it says quantum energy device in the parentheses in Wayla. So that's pretty cool. The way these work is the more of the ender flux crystals that you have surrounding them, the faster they will do their operation. So it kind of works like a crafting table. So we need ender quarry upgrade base. So we need burnt quartz, which just smelt quartz to get that. And these ender infused obsidian, which I have. Unfortunately, you can't shift click in. So we have to manually drop it. But if we do this, and it powers on, makes some very strange ender noises, and then slowly we will get our ender quarry upgrade base. Pretty cool. Then I should also have a silk touch book. I don't think... Where did I put it? Oh yeah, I put it over here because it can't be stacked. Silk touch 1. And we'll need that for our silk touch upgrade. Alright, so I'm going to make this and then work on making the actual quarry itself. So the quarry's made, and there is one more problem though. Where I'm going to put the quarry is pretty far away from the base. I found a nice flat land, which is ideal for putting down quarries, but the problem is I need a way to get power out that far. So what I'm going to do is be using tesseracts from thermal expansion. So let's take a look what we need for a tesseract. Tesseract, please. Alright, so first we need the frame. That's the first thing we need to do. So for the frame we need hardened glass, which we can get pulverized obsidian and lead, and put that in the induction smelter, the same induction smelter that I was using for the titanium ingots. So that's not going to be too hard. Diamond and enderium ingots. Now this is a little bit more advanced. There's different ways to get enderium ingots. We could smelt enderium blend with pyrotheum dust and get enderium blend by mixing this together. But the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to cast molten enderium into ingot cast. And the way to get molten enderium for me, I'm going to throw in ender pearls, which will give me resident ender, melt some shiny, melt some tin, and silver. So this mixture altogether should give me molten enderium. Then I'll cast that into the ingots. That will give me the enderium ingots I need for the frame. Alright, and then we'll take a look at the next part after I've done that. And here we can see 1 silver, 1 shiny, 2 tin, and 4 ender pearls. And that will smelt up and give us 4 of the enderium ingots. Just like so. And now that I have the tesseract frames, the next thing we need to do is fill them up. So we do that by putting in resonant ender and a fluid transposer. It takes 1,000 millibuckets, which equals to 4 ender pearls. And I have a couple machines here to help me out, the magma crucible and the fluid transposer. Magma crucible, here's the recipe for that. Just a leadstone energy cell, some basic stuff. And what this will do is we can drop in the ender pearls that we need and it will basically liquefy it. So we'll need, because we're making 2 tesseracts, we'll need 8 ender pearls. So I'll put that in there and it will start turning that into liquid ender or whatever it's called. You can see it's automatically being sucked out into this fluid transposer. And what the fluid transposer does is it transposes the fluids, so it's sucking out the resonant ender that we're getting from the magma crucible, and all that I have to do is put in the tesseract frame, and as soon as it gets enough resonant ender to fill it up, it will very slowly transpose the fluid into the tesseract frame. So this should be ready to go here momentarily. There's one more step after these fill up. We just have to surround it with lead and bronze, or silver and bronze, I mean, and then we will have a working tesseract. So yeah, while we're waiting for that, there's something else I need to mention that I don't think I did. I also upgraded the furnace and the pulverizer to go a little bit faster. If we take a look at the recipe, yeah, I did this for both of them. You can just take the basic version and add an electrum gear and some invar ingots and it will upgrade it to the hardened version. What the hardened version does is it allows for another augmentation, and I just added a speed augmentation. So times 2 speed plus 50% energy used times 3 RF per tick requires a hardened machine. So these have been both upgraded to hardened, and there's really no drain on the power at all. Even though it's using a little bit more power, it performs much faster. And here's the recipe for the augment. If we can look at it from the screen, I guess not. Augment? It's just bronze ingots around one of those reception coils and a little bit of redstone. And again, I think I went over the bronze. It's just bronze blend, copper with tin. So that's that. Alright, so now that we have 2 working tesseracts, I already set this to export power to its right side, and we'll just go ahead and set this tesseract right down to the right. Then we will right click on it to take a look at it. Now we need to set a frequency and a name. So frequency 1, we will call this power, I guess, and just set frequency and save the frequency. So configuration, we want this to neither send nor receive items, neither send nor receive fluids, but we do want it to, we want this to send energy, I believe. So this will send the energy that it takes from the hardened energy cell, and it will send it to this one. We'll set this one up real quick. And is there something we can use to test it? Alright, so we'll just test it with pulverizer and some cobblestone. So let's set this configuration. So the frequency was 1, and it's on power. So configuration, block that, and we want this to receive only. So we should be able to put some cobblestone in here. And this is not going down. So that should mean that this is working correctly. Let's just go ahead and remove the tesseract. And now, yeah, now the energy is going down. So the tesseract is able to transfer energy across very long distances. I do believe it also works across dimensions as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and go out to where I want to set up the quarry and see if we can get started on that. Here we are. This is where I want to put the quarry. It's out here pretty far from the base. Yeah, about 2,000 blocks, but this is a pretty good spot that I found. I already have these ender markers down. You have to put them basically in a square. They have to be facing each other to form some kind of four-sided figure. If we press F9, we can actually see the chunk borders. Now, just like the endothermic pump, the ender quarry keeps its own, the chunk that it's in loaded, as well as the chunk that it's currently working on. So you can see I roughly have these markers set out just just around about 1 chunk. Just kind of test it. I want to test it out on a chunk first before I make a huge one. But anyways, I believe all we have to do is set this down somewhere along the line. So maybe. Unable to detect fence boundary. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe it has to be in front of it, I guess. That would make a little bit more sense. Successfully established boundary. Okay. So the reason why I put this out offset by 1 chunk is, like I said, it keeps the chunk that it's currently in loaded, so I'll be able to do some stuff in this chunk for the item management and stuff like that. But anyway, now that it's been established, it says mining at 0 block scan because it doesn't have power. First, let's set down the Silk Touch upgrade, and then also set down Tesseract, set it down right here. This should be configured and ready to go. So yeah, it has block scanned, so I should probably believe all I have to do is put down transfer node. I bought some speed upgrades. I'll probably need more of them. And I also have a iron chest, and I brought the stuff to upgrade it, so let's make it gold, make it diamond. Now it should hold all kinds of stuff. So the quarry is working. And I also added a chunk loader to the base too, to keep that power going just in case we need it. Now the way that the Ender Quarry works is, so this purple particle thing that you see, that's the current line that it's on, and it will scan like an entire row of blocks. It'll go all the way down to bedrock and look for stuff to mine, and it will actually swap it with a dirt block. Again, another way to prevent lag and block updates and stuff. And then everything that it mines, you can export it directly from the block itself. So I'm going to let this run, see how it does for power, see what kind of blocks I get, and then see if I can set up maybe a slightly better sorting system. And I think eventually I'll have it all funnel back to the base, but for now, I'm just going to do this kind of a temporary setup. Actually, let's go check out, press F9 to turn that off. Let's go check out how the power is doing. Yeah, I also started to make this warp room something I need to work on to make it look good, just like everything else. But for now, it's functional. So if we go over here and check out the power, alright, the power is slowly dropping. But if the quarry is the only thing that I'm running, it should work for a little while. I think it'll run kind of empty, and the only thing that's going to happen when this completely runs out is the quarry will just start slowing down, but it'll still be working. So I think that's good. In fact, I could set up another one of these little systems with the endothermic pump. Like find another lava lake in the nether, and then have like maybe a second one right over here. I think I might actually do that. But we'll see how it goes. For now, I'm just going to let the quarry run, and then we'll check back here in a little bit. Alright, the Ender Quarry's been running for a little while. It's going good. Still haven't found any diamonds, it seems. But I was having a problem. This diamond chest was actually getting filled up with stone, so I just made a hardened cache, put it down right here, and that seems to have taken care of the problem. But anyway, another thing that I did, if we go back to the base real quick, I went ahead and did what I said I was going to do. I made another one of these power lava pump, the endothermic pump things in the nether. This time I used a lava generator tier 2. So the recipe for that is you just take a bunch of the level 1, you take 8 of them, and you need a transfer node, which is a QED recipe. Pretty simple. You just need one of these upgrades, and that's the recipe for that. So it's speed and that and all that. So anyway, this is, it produces 320 RF per tick, but it burns through in about, looks like 6 seconds. So it's, I think what it does is basically the same amount of work that this does, just a lot faster. And it's not really making a noticeable difference. Like, as soon as this gets any energy into it, it's instantly transmitting it over to the quarry out there. But there might be a bottleneck. Like, this can only receive 800 RF per tick input, and I do believe that's per side, but I'm not exactly sure how much the RedNet energy cable transfers. And if this is doing 320, then we could say maybe these are doing roughly 320. So it should be alright, but it could be wrong. But we'll see. And I might actually switch all these over to one of these as well to see how that goes. I'm not sure. But I think that's going to be it for today. We got a lot more done than I realized, and I'm very happy with that. So I think what I'm going to do for next time, I've noticed that a couple things that have been hard for me to get was gold and blaze rods. So I'm running extremely low on gold, and the quarry's not really helping, at least not yet anyway. And I always need blaze rods, always have to go to the nether and find blaze spawner and kill blazes, so I think I might work on something to help out with that in between episodes. Definitely want to start expanding the farms that we have over there, especially the Ender Pearl farm, and maybe start farming some other stuff if we can. Maybe some mob farms, I don't know. Stuff to think about, stuff that I'll probably work on. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.